Hi, this is Lucien, DH7LM, and welcome back to Ham Radio Soul. Today I'd like to encourage you to share things ham radio on social media and other platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, etc. And before we go through the various platforms you could use, depending on your needs and what you're comfortable with, let me just tell you that I know that many people out there, especially hams perhaps, are a bit shy on that front. It's kind of a pity because it's really helpful to other hams if you are out there sharing things. And I think it's what the hobby is all about, this great community where we help each other out. And nowadays the easiest way is on the internet, of course, and on the various platforms. So if you think you're a bit shy and you think it's not really your cup of tea, you might want to reconsider and just try it out, because in my experience you really get more comfortable the more you do it. Me myself, I'm a rather shy guy and it doesn't really come natural for me, but nowadays it's really fun. I really enjoy it, and I think it's a great aspect of the hobby. Another reason you might come up with why sharing things is not for you might be that you think you have nothing to offer. And it's pretty easy to think that way, because after all, there are all these cracks with PhDs and what have you out there, and it's understandable. But consider this: even if you're a beginner or you don't know a lot about ham radio or whatever, you could still help other beginners with the tips and tricks that you yourself have figured out at the level that you are. I mean, some PhD who has been a ham for 40 years, he wouldn't even understand the struggle some newcomers have today in terms of the exam and how to get into the hobby and all of that, because it's a different world, right? So even if you think you're just a newbie or you don't have anything to offer, think again. Chances are you could really help someone out there who's just starting out, or who just has a similar problem as you have, and you have already solved it. So I don't really buy that you don't have anything to offer. If you're still not convinced, let me tell you some other reasons why I think it's a great idea to start sharing things on the internet. First, as I've already mentioned, you give something back to the community, right? So that's really, really nice, because after all, we all profit from all those hams out there making videos, writing blog posts and helping people out. So it's nice if we can give something back. Right? So just think about how much you enjoy to watch ham radio videos on YouTube, for example. So why not give something back and have others enjoy your videos as well? Another thing that I can tell you from experience is that it really makes you feel great. And that's not because of some narcissistic ego thing or something, but it's because it's just nice to share stuff. It's just a nice feeling. And what I especially like about it is that every time I do something ham radio related, be it an outing or a project or something, I always have it in the back of my mind that I want to share about it, right? And this gives me so much extra motivation to see things through, to finish my projects, to learn even more, to be just better at what I'm doing. It's a huge boost. Lastly, to encourage you even further, let me take out the moral hammer because I think sharing is just the right thing to do, period. Why keep everything for yourself? Why not share what you've learned with others? It's just the right thing to do, okay? So anyway, that's how I see it. Okay, so you might think, where to start? Where can I share things? What are the platforms and what are the pros and cons and so on? So let's talk about some of the options. First, and this is probably the easiest way to share things, is your QRZ page. Because as you know, most hams will check out QRZ pages either during a QSO or after a QSO. It's just fun to see what the other guy is all about, right? So I think it's a really great idea to have a very good QRZ page. Not necessarily because you want to show off or show the world what a great ham you are, but to help people and to inspire them. And I really love it, for example, when hams share their projects on their QRZ page, right? If they have pictures and explanations of their projects, what of their transceivers, of their accessories and so on, and or what they did in terms of antenna. And I often stumble upon really great ideas that I don't then want to implement myself. And that's really, really nice. So please share your projects on your QRZ.com page. That's a great start. And you just need to do it once and then you're set for a while. But you could also update it once you finish a new project and put it there. Put everything there, really. I mean, it's really fascinating for other hams to see that. So that's a great place to start. Then, of course, there are blogs. You can open a blog at WordPress.com or other providers, and it's very easy. Unfortunately, blogs are not that popular, it seems, than they used to be, which is kind of a pity because I think it's really a great format, especially for technical projects, for descriptions of what you have done, and you can include technical diagrams and photos and all of that. I think it's a great format for ham radio, and I really love it to read blogs and have project documentations there. Me too, I'm running a blog that I update from time to time. And I think especially for like explanations of projects and all of that, it's really amazing. And it's kind of a pity that it seems it kind of faded away a bit because of all those other social media platforms. But it's really a good idea to open a blog. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. Then we got YouTube, obviously. So this seems to be one of the most popular platforms for ham radio these days. And it's really great. It's a lot of fun to watch all those ham radio videos. So that's also pretty easy to do. You might think you need cameras and lighting and all of that, but to be honest, nowadays all you need is a smartphone and there you go. So just record videos of your ham radio activities, perhaps cut them together a little using free software for Windows or Mac or Linux. It's really easy these days, and it's very fast. So don't worry that it will take so much time. At the beginning, maybe you need to get the hang of it a little bit, but it's really very easy and fast these days, and that's really great. All you need is a smartphone. I mean, you already have it with you all the time, right? So why not record some things either in your shack or if you are outside operating portable, or just present some of the projects that you've made. Go for it. Another great place for sharing things and learning are mailing lists. These days, I think most of them are hosted with groups.io. Many used to be on yahoo.com, on Yahoo Groups. I think there are still some left there. But the platform is really a bit broken, so everyone kind of moved to groups.io. Usually what you need to do is to register with this particular group. I mean, there's a group for everything. There's a group for the Yaesu FT817. There's a group for the BitX experimenters. There's a group for every activity in ham radio that you can think of and that you can't think of possibly. So that's really great, and there are very in-depth discussions going on there, people asking questions and helping each other out. These are amazing places. So just Google, like whatever it interests you, and add mailing list or groups.io or whatever, and chances are you find those groups. And then you can join them, and sometimes you can just join them right away, and sometimes you need to be admitted. So that's really nice. I must say though that harking back to my comment about the decline of the blogs, that it's kind of a pity that everything kind of moved to those mailing lists. I mean, I get it. It's really convenient for having discussions and all of that, and it's all archived. So that's really nice. But it's kind of private, and oftentimes you need to join those lists, and it's not that you can really just Google stuff and then you find it. And it's also mostly text, right? So it's not so much enhanced with diagrams and media and all of that, which was a great strength of the blogosphere, I think. But anyway, it's what it is, and you'll find plenty of great stuff there. Of course, you can also share and ask questions. So that's really important. If you join those lists, don't be shy and participate, right? And if you figured something out, be sure to tell the other people. Ah, yes, and then there are the forums. So the ham radio forums, as you might have noticed, it usually goes like this. Someone asks a question, and then you have like 3 or 4 half-decent posts before the whole thing turns into a complete fist fight with everyone calling everyone else names and all of that. And sometimes it can be really strange, you know. And I once researched something about an antenna, and there was one guy who asked something about a mobile antenna. I think he wanted to do stationary mobile or something like that. And then another guy suggested that why doesn't he use a balloon? Or I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's really strange. I mean, here's a poor guy, just wants a simple solution, and he's supposed to, you know, like fire up a balloon or whatever. So you know what I'm talking about. But all these kinds of nerdy things aside that always happen in forums, not only in ham radio forums, there are some decent forums out there, and there are some decent people populating these forums where you can ask questions and also share your projects and share what you've learned and answer questions that other people have. So really, I mean, just do it. It's a great way to answer specific questions, and they will also be searchable on Google. So you might help a lot of people by answering those questions. So that's another great way of sharing. Of course, Facebook is another really huge platform for ham radio these days. There are tons of groups that are similar to the other mailing list groups about specific topics, and there are some really excellent discussions going on there, and some excellent people who share things. And I would definitely encourage you, if you have something to share, something to tell, if you're good at something and can answer questions, join one of these special interest groups and be there and help people out. Even if it's just newbies, you know, having very simple basic questions. If you know a few of those things and you have figured it out, then be there for the other people. It's a great way to share. I must admit that personally I'm not a huge fan of the Facebook groups. Again, I kind of miss the blogs, but yeah, it's really great. The one thing that perhaps I don't like so much about it, that it's not a good way to organize information, right? So you can really search for things. It's not indexed in Google really. And it's kind of chaotic because Facebook is really not made for this kind of in-depth exchange about technical topics. But it is what it is, and hams also use the platforms that are available, and Facebook obviously is one of the most important ones. So yeah, if you're on Facebook, join those groups. It's really useful. Last but not least, I want to mention Twitter. There's also kind of a ham radio community going on there, and it's also a nice platform for sharing articles and for, you know, like making small comments or just following what's happening in amateur radio. And it's not so much perhaps a platform where you can share your knowledge necessarily, but if you make YouTube videos or write blog posts or whatever, you can share those on Twitter as well. And as I said, it's just a nice community of ham radio operators that has formed there. So that's pretty nice. Although not necessarily for sharing in my experience. Lastly, as we all know, there's also something called real life that is not online, right? So the spirit of sharing, which I think is very much in line with the ham spirit in general, obviously works in the real world as well, and I guess even better. So I would definitely encourage you to help people out in real life, whether they are fellow club members or just hams that you know. It's really such an amazing thing about our hobby that people are always willing to help, and I really hope that this culture prevails in our hobby, and I think it does. But it only works if we all do our part, right? Definitely we want to share our knowledge with other hams and help them out. I think that's really, really important, especially in real life. So again, don't let all those doubts stop you, and take it one step at a time. I would recommend that you pick one of those platforms that you kind of feel most comfortable with and start there. No need to do everything at once, and no need to do everything, period, because nobody can do everything. So pick one platform, maybe qrz.com, because it's the easiest place to start if you haven't a great page already, or if you could imagine that video is your thing because you don't really like writing and all of that. So then definitely check out YouTube. It's so easy to get a channel started and put up some videos there. Really, it's ridiculous. You just should do it. It's great fun. But if you think, I'm not a video guy, that's not for me, I prefer, like just writing about technical things, then perhaps join a mailing list and see what you can do, or even create a blog and write a great blog post, or be active in a forum or something like that. Just check it out. You can try these things out, see what works for you, see what it does and how people react. And of course you probably will make mistakes, like everyone does, and sometimes it can be a bit tricky, but after that you know it, and it's all about learning, right? So just give it a shot. And I think sharing in the online age is really something that goes together with ham radio. It's really the ham spirit in the online world that comes through, and I just love it that there are so many creators out there who talk about ham radio, who share their expertise, their experiences. It's just amazing, and that's the key thing for me that makes the hobby so great. Okay, so I hope you found this video useful and encouraging. And if you got something out of it, consider subscribing and hitting the bell button so that you get notified when I post a new video, if you like, of course. And I wish you the best of luck in your sharing experiences, and let me know if you have any questions or comments below in the comments section. Thanks a lot for watching, and 73s. See you next time. Bye bye.